Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jai Radha, Madhav Radha, Madhav Radhe. Jai Radha, Madhav Radha, Madhav Radhe. Jai Radha, Damodar Radha, Damodar Radhe, Radha. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Bhimanandi. Bhaktivinoda Sripad Paramahamsa Pri Vrajagacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Hirabai Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi BT Founder Charyas Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Bhagwatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Primanande. All glories to be assembled devotees. All glories to be assembled devotees. All glories to be assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru, to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Oh, these are from our flowers, huh? Yeah, so it's possible. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurandritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanditam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagwatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayashabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God as Srila Vyasadeva It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Mukam karoti bhacharam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class. We are continuing from canto number 1, chapter 3. Canto 1, chapter 3, text number 40. Special verse. Yes? Yeah. We recite this verse every morning, actually. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi Nisreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasti Ayanam Mahat Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swaschayanam Mahat Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swaschayanam Mahat Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swaschayanam Mahat Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloke Charitam Swasyayanam Mahat. Idam, this Bhagavatam, book containing the narration, book containing the narration of the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees. Nama, of the name. Puranam, supplementary to the Vedas. Brahma Samitam, incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna. Uttama Shloka, of the personality of Godhead. Charitam, activities. Chakara, compiled. Bhagavan, incarnation of the personality of Godhead. Rishihi, Sri Vyasadeva, Nishreyasaya, for the ultimate good. Lokasya, of all people. Dhanyam, fully successful. Swasti ayanam, all blissful. Mahat, all perfect. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. This Srimad Bhagwatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Kindly repeat after me. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Report. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared that Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless, sound representation of all Vedic knowledge and history. There are selected histories of great devotees who are in direct contact with the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna. and is therefore non-different from him. Srimad Bhagavatam should be worshipped as respectfully as we worship the Lord. Thereby we can derive the ultimate blessings of the Lord through its careful and patient study. As God is all light, all bliss, and all perfection, so also is Srimad Bhagavatam. We can have all the transcendental light of the Supreme Brahman, Sri Krishna, from the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, provided it is received through the medium of the transparent spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya's private secretary, Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, advised all intending visitors who came to see the Lord at Puri to make a study of the Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavatam. Person Bhagavatam is a self-realized, bona fide spiritual master, and through him only can one understand the lessons of Bhagavatam in order to receive the desired result. One can derive from the study of the Bhagavatam all benefits that are possible to be derived from the personal presence of the Lord. It carries with it all the transcendental blessings of Lord Sri Krishna that we can expect from his personal contact. Translation again, this Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. This is one of the very important verses in this chapter. The other important verse was establishing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, text 28. Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Yeah. Although so many incarnations are mentioned, this chapter deals especially with various incarnations, underlining, emphasizing, explaining that Krishna is the origin or the source of all incarnations. So that's why, unless if one is a transcendentalist, if one is interested in spiritual life, unless one comes to read the Bhagavatam, one will not be able to understand who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam, in other words, especially not only explains very clearly establishes the identity of Godhead, but also clearly points out and emphasizes the process by which to attain that realization of Godhead. In our Guru Parampara, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the Bhagavatam is like the shining light. It's like it's the most important literature. We have major acharyas, actually, beginning with Sridhar Swami, who appeared before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Major Vaishnava acharyas who gave wonderful commentaries on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the most recent such acharya being our founder acharya, Srila Prabhupada. The purports we are reading. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not just another Purana. It's one of 18 Puranas, as we know. But it is, as Prabhupada mentions here, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pointed out or emphasized how the Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana, totally unmixed, without any mixture of anything material. That's established. Very interesting, actually. Um, one devotee, some of you may know him, Rasaraj. Krishna is Rasaraj. He is the king of Rasa. He is Rasa Samudra. Rasa, an ocean of ocean of mellows, ocean of feelings, relationships, transcendental, spiritual. So anyway, this devotee, Rasaraj Prabhu, some time back, I happened to hear his rendering, his account of how he came in contact. It's always interesting to hear. Everyone has their own story, right? Some stories are very unique. I mean, every story is unique. Some are more fantastic than others. His was quite interesting because he was. Anyone know Rasaraj Prabhu? Eh? He's Indian, from India. He's Bhaktivedanta Institute. He's a disciple actually of Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. Prabhupada appointed Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj as the head of BI, right? Bhaktivedanta Institute. And Prabhupada had great expectations and plans, to kind of like convert all the scientists in the world to become Krishna conscious. Some of them did actually. So Rasaraj was a young man. Many people from India, since quite a few decades, have gone to the the land of milk and honey. Have gone to the Western countries in search of paradise, lost paradise. Paradise actually is in India. People are leaving India, going to. So, anyways, he was quite a few devotees. That was in the 70s, actually. Many such young men from India who were studying at that time when Prabhupada started the Hare Krishna movement were fortunate enough to come in contact, with Srila Prabhupada or his devotees. So he was, I think, already graduated. He's like very intelligent and has wonderful insights. So he was telling that one day, one of my friends told me he didn't know anything about Hare Krishna. I mean, he's from pious family, I think Brahmana family, but he was in America for some time working, and then his friend told him uh, there's a place where you can get vegetarian food. Wow, Hare Krishna. uh, I think it was in Detroit. Um, so he said, "Oh, okay," because most Indians have a hard time in other countries. I mean, those who are, following culture and are vegetarian, because like 50 years ago, vegetarian restaurants were rare. so, so he decides to go to this Detroit temple, and but he arrives late for the feast. The Sunday feast is over, everyone is gone, but there's only one person at the temple, and a devotee. So he sees this young man, and so he starts to talk to him. And fortunately, there's a little bit of prasadam left, so he gives him some prasadam. And Rasaraj is a very intellectual person, so he was curious to know a little bit more about. So he says, the devotee is telling him, yeah, this temple has been here and it's been established by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and we have books and books. He was already, intellectual people are interested in books and reading. So there's a devotee, he says, yeah, yeah. So he hands him the first canto of the Bhagavatam. So Rasaraj was relating in that interview, I picked up this Bhagavatam and I read the first verse. The first verse is heavy. The first verse is full of like, it's a long verse, and yeah, it's like, uh, this is first canto of the Bhagavatam. It's like anyone who has a little bit of, what is it? A little bit of intelligence, I guess. The Janmadhyasa verse, which is having a very long purport also. I mean, the whole philosophy is like contained. The first and second verse of the first canto of the Bhagavatam are like, so he was reading this verse and he couldn't believe it. Wow. So much of, then he says, he asked the devotee, do you have any more books like this? And so he came back later on and he got the whole set of Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is just like, is complete knowledge. It's described here as supplementary to the Vedas, and something very important for us in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, because the Goswamis of Vrindavan, as we know, were ordered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to, okay, these guys are really on the ball here. Unusual. So our Goswamis, naturally, we can't imagine actually. They were totally like free, totally um, without any, like, totally absorbed actually in the mission that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given to them, which was to just be in Vrindavan and to completely absorb themselves in studying and discussing and finding out, you could say mining. It's like in a mine, gold mine. In my country, we have many gold mines, actually. So people go in the gold mine and extract mine. I mean, gold. Sometimes they try to take some of that gold illegally from the mine. Anyway, the Goswamis, that was their daily activity. I mean, that's all they would do. Read, discuss for hours and hours. So amongst the Goswamis in Vrindavan, we know that Srila Jiva Goswami, in particular, he wrote the Sat Sandarbhas. And the Sat Sandarbhas, in the first, we were talking about the Sat Sandarbhas, the first one is called Tattva Sandarbha. So in this Tattva Sandarbha, very wonderfully, Srila Jiva Goswami explains how extremely special and unique is the Srimad Bhagavatam. He actually establishes by quoting from Shastra, because our Acharyas, as Prabhupada told us, whatever people say, they quote from Shastra. So he establishes, quoting from Shastra, how for us in Kali Yuga today, the Srimad Bhagavatam is more important than the Vedas. Most people actually in India who are, especially Mayavadis, they don't accept this. They will say that actually the Vedas are the most important. Of course, the Vedas are the most important, but the essence of the Vedas has been given by Srila Vyasadeva in the form of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he explains also, Srila Jiva Goswami, that to read and to study actually the original Vedas, you need to have mastered a particular level of Sanskrit, different levels of Sanskrit we were discussing the other day. There's like very advanced Sanskrit, there's medium Sanskrit, then there's ordinary, you could say conversational Sanskrit. There's a movement in India since many years, actually, since at least 40 years, to promote Sanskrit, to promote conversational Sanskrit. India has presently, I think, 5 or 7 villages where everyone speaks Sanskrit. And must be wonderful. Of course, if you understand Sanskrit. But one of our objectives should be in establishing Vedic villages is to, when will the Hare Krishna movement establish such a village where everyone speaks Sanskrit? Our aim should be to have many such villages where people on the daily basis they speak Sanskrit. Then all of our linguistic problems, language problems in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness will be resolved.
Maybe better to know the Sanskrit, English, and Russia.
For Russians, you should learn. You can make the connection. Well, you can make the connection. Actually, in the Gita Nagari essay that we'll be studying, one of the statements made by Srila Prabhupada was that the medium of study in the Gita Pachala will be English and Sanskrit. because English is like a global language. It's not a very advanced language, but it happens to be the language of communication. Yeah. So um, we have devotees here. It mentions also how one should very nicely, very patiently study systematically, and of course, the Vaishnava Institute for Higher Education, uh, which was especially one of the devotees, Burijan Prabhu. Some of you may know him. Him along with some other devotees, Dhanur Dharma Raj also. Yeah, in the early days when the VIAC was established in Vrindavan, they have actually introduced very nice systematic study. I mean, it's part of what devotees study in Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, like that. so, um, so this verse especially is highlighting and glorifying the importance of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and we need to become expert in presenting the knowledge of the Bhagavatam to people who may not be devotees also. Devotees are meant to be mm, daksha, expert, expert in bringing people to Krishna consciousness. So one of our objectives, of course, as as devotees and as a movement, yeah, is to spread more and more. I mean, the culture of Krishna consciousness, and that is best done through the pages of the Bhagavatam. That's why, like every year, this year actually they had for the Bhadra Purnima an objective, I believe, of 50,000 sets of Bhagavatam, or if not, maybe 500 sets. 500 sets. 500, what is it? Either 50 or 500,000 sets of Bhagavatam. Um, does anyone know? Okay. I mean, big number, huge number actually. Because this, uh, this nicely also mentioned here, when we hear from the Bhagavatam, when we keep the when we hold the Bhagavatam, we're holding Krishna. We are, it's as good as being directly in contact with Krishna. Um, in other words, the Bhagavatam is as worshipable as Krishna. And it can only be received and understood actually through devotees, those who are living those instructions. And of course, uh, what are the four? What are the four aspects of this book, Bhagavatam, that we should all be doing or concerned about? What was the first activity in connection with books when the Krishna consciousness movement began? Book distribution. Distribute, isn't it? Then after some time, Prabhupada asked, he told, I'm very happy to see that you're so enthusiastic to distribute my books, but are you reading my books? And unfortunately, everyone's head went down. We're not, we're not reading the books. So then for some time, in addition to book distribution, reading books was emphasized. Then after some time, somebody raised the question, well, it's very nice to distribute books. Also, it is very nice to read books, but are we studying the books? Oh, yeah. Not only we have to distribute and read, but we have to study the books. You know. Then somebody else said after some time, well, it's very nice to distribute books. It's very nice to read the books, and it's very nice to study the books. But are we living these books? Are we living, practically applying the knowledge that is in the books? And what does it mean to apply this knowledge? It is actually contained in this verse, Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavat Sravana Maturavasa Sri Murtira. Maturavasa. What is meaning of Maturavasa? Huh?
Residing in holy dham.
That is one meaning. There are three meanings. That is one meaning. Residing in Mathura Vrindavan. Second meaning, making our home like Mathura Vrindavan. Isn't it? Anyone who's having altar deities at home, anyone who's keeping the Bhagwatam at home, his place is Mathura. It's like Mathura. Mathura Vasa. And the third meaning, very important for students in the Varnashram college. What's the third meaning, especially for those who are students in the Varnashram college of Mathura Vasa?
Create such kind of
Make Vrindavan village. Yeah, make communities where devotees are actually living in Mathura, replica of Mathura. This will be the indication that our movement is successful when we are able to establish communities like Vrindavan. Make like Vrindavan, Papa told us, which means make Vrindavan villages. Because that is where the full manifestation of Vedic culture and the full manifestation of what is the ideal material way of living and what is the ideal spiritual way of living is found in Vrindavan. And it is hidden. It is hidden to most people. So, any comments or questions?
Вопросы?
Sanatan always has questions. This is good.
Один из моментов получается, что есть Шримад Бхагаватам, но последовательное изучение все равно же приводит к Варнашраме. То есть вот мы сейчас первую песню читаем, а в седьмой песне Варнашраме.
So we're usually reading Bhagavatam, and all the Bhagavatam it's come up to the Varnashrama. Like we're reading now first canto, and 7 cantos are about Varnashrama. Приводит?
Приводит.
No, no, is he telling that only in the seventh canto? Varnashrama is also mentioned in so many. Huh?
В комментариях. Ну, как бы сама седьмая песня про Варнашраму и в комментариях. Ну,
Нет, мы спрашиваем, только в седьмой говорит, да, что про Varnashrama.
Именно про социальное устройство. До этого же Варнашрама это означает и духовное, и материальное. Вначале все равно говорит о духовном Шримад Бхагаватам, а более материальном, как бы социальной жизни, в седьмой песне. В том-то и дело, что сейчас, получается, в Искон в основном-то изучают сначала Шримад Бхагаватам и не доходят до седьмой песни, как бы. Ну и, соответственно,
So, can somebody explain the question?
Yes. So like in ISKCON we're reading the Bhagavatam, and we're usually starting from the beginning,
Yes.
but not going till the seventh canto, and that's why most of the people don't know about the Varnashrama.
Okay, your point is a good point, actually, because people are not reading the Bhagavatam, so and not reading systematically, so it takes some of them a long time to come to the seventh canto, and many of them never come to the seventh canto. So yes, that is one reason why many of our devotees don't know about about Varnashrama. But Varnashrama is also mentioned before. It's just that in the seventh canto, it is like there's a heavy dose. Narada Muni speaks about Varnashrama for like 5 chapters, in 5 chapters. But even before that, there's many references to Varnashrama Dharma. Yeah. But it's a fact, because devotees are reading less, not studying systematically, and therefore they have less understanding of this important aspect of the Bhagavatam, which is about Varnashrama Dharma. Yeah.
Прабхупада еще, будучи в Индии, написал первую песню Шримад Бхагаватам, и в ней уже в комментариях говорил Варнашрама. Но просто многие как будто не видят этих комментариев. Как бы удивляются, где же Прабхупада говорит о Варнашраме.
And even Srila Prabhupada, when he was in India, he wrote first Bhagavatam, first Bhagavatam, but even in the first canto there are some purports about Varnashrama, but when devotees reading that, they even don't see the verses, and they are wondering like, where is the Varnashrama in Bhagavatam?
He's telling that even in the first canto, although it speaks about Varnashrama, when devotees read it, they don't see it. Yeah.
Then they ask it, where is the Varnashrama?
Yeah, actually, I have personally seen a sannyasi many years ago giving a Bhagavatam class right here in Mayapur, and in the verse and in the purport, it was speaking about Varnashrama, and he didn't say a word about Varnashrama in the whole class.
Пару лет назад видел саньяси, прям здесь на Япуре давали класс по Бхагаватам, и они прям в комментариях, переводе говорили про Варнашрама, но они ни одного слова не сказали про Варнашрама.
Actually, in case you didn't know, I might have mentioned that there's a GBC resolution going back many years that whoever gives Bhagavatam class, he should take 10 minutes, minimum 10 minutes, to speak about Varnashrama in every class.
Every class?
Yeah, every class. I'll show you the GBC resolution. It says that all of the leaders or anyone who is giving Bhagavatam class, they should give 10 minutes. It's a resolution, GBC resolution, to emphasize the need and the importance of at least making some reference. That everyone who gives a Bhagavatam class, they should give 10 minutes to speaking something about Varnashrama. It's so important. Yeah. So that's something else also. Not only are devotees not reading Bhagavatam, devotees also not reading GBC resolution.
Так еще в резолюции что должны жить какое-то время лидеры на фермах.
There should be a resolution that devotees should read GBC resolutions. At least the temple presidents, it is part of their duty, responsibility, and other leaders to, whenever GBC resolutions come out, so that to read to them and discuss with the devotees so they know, we're part of an international society for Krishna consciousness. Okay. Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagwatam Ki, Jai Sri Prabhupada Ki, Gaurapimanandi.
His Holiness Bhakti Radha Swami Maharaj ki